Over 60? Revealed. 4 incredible frozen foods that transform health and 4 to avoid at all costs. Mary stared at the screen, her heart racing with a mix of disbelief and curiosity. A world of frozen possibilities unfurled before her, 4 magical foods promising to rejuvenate her weary body and mind. It was just what she needed, especially after feeling the jabs of age creeping into her once energetic spirit. As a devoted school teacher for most of her life, Mary had poured her heart into nurturing young minds. But now her joy came from her grandchildren's laughter and the simple moments spent huddled together. With each ache in her bones, she reflected on family meals filled with love and stories simmering on the stove. The kitchen had always been her sanctuary, but recent challenges made her feel vulnerable, deflating her sense of purpose. It wasn't just the physical struggle, she felt a creeping despair when faced with the idea of health slipping away, cutting her off from those cherished times with her family. As the rain tapped rhythmically against her window, she dived into her search, hoping to find that spark that would revive her energy and joy. Each click brought her closer to the heartwarming community of seniors who shared their culinary secrets, solutions that gave rise to a flicker of hope within her. Her research was a nimble dance across well-intentioned advice. The frozen foods began to sing to her like sirens promising vitality. But a wave of reality came crashing. The price tags attached to these nutritional gems often loomed high, a stark reminder of the economic inequalities she felt so poignantly. Just as she began to weave frozen meals into her routine, a rattle of keys echoed through her home. Jake, her estranged son, stood at the door, looking smaller than she remembered. The disappointment of losing his job hung heavy in the air, casting a shadow over the otherwise sunny kitchen. Once filled with warmth, the home felt like a battleground buzzing with untold stories and frustrations. Their interactions soon danced around unspoken resentments. As steam curled dreamily from pots on the stove, tension simmered just below the surface, threatening to boil over. Mary could almost taste the bitterness as she watched Jake push away dishes she carefully prepared. Memories of shared laughter echoed with painful clarity. For every meal, her heart yearned not just for nourishment, but for healing. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue with every shared dish. Mary sought solace. The online community's frozen food secrets found their way into her kitchen like healing herbs, inviting her and Jake to rediscover untainted moments. But the more they sat at the table, the more unfiltered their discussion became. Choices and sacrifices paved the path to their reconciliation. Just when there seemed to be a flicker of light, a sudden revelation about Jake's struggles threatened to extinguish their developing bond, forcing Mary to confront the bittersweet expectations she clung to. Could the messiness of despair give way to understanding? As they navigated through pain and unyielding love, the kitchen radiated warmth beyond the meals. It was a place ripe with hope for a second chance, leaving Mary teetering on the edge of healing and heartbreak. The air in the kitchen was thick with tension as Mary stirred a pot of chicken soup, the familiar aroma wrapping around her like a hug. It was comforting, yet the weight of silence hung between her and Jake. She caught glimpses of him from the corner of her eye, his brow furrowed, hands shifting uncomfortably in his lap. "Jake," she finally said, her voice soft but steady. "I've made your favorite. It's just like when you were a kid." He lifted his gaze, skepticism flashing briefly before it melted away into something softer. "Mom, it's not about the soup." He sighed heavily, the sound thick with unshared burdens. "I thought things could maybe go back to how they were, you know?" Mary's heart twisted. She had longed for that too. She wanted the laughter, the lightness, but shadows of past arguments danced in her memory, each one a reminder of the rift that had formed between them. "I want that as much as you do," she admitted, her voice cracking just slightly. Jake huffed, shifting again. "But you don't understand. It's not just about food. I've messed up, Mom. I'm barely holding on." The words cut through her a blend of anger and sadness. It felt like a wall he'd built stone by stone was now crumbling into a heap of regret. She wanted to reach out, to repair, but how? After a long pause, she gestured toward a bowl of freshly frozen peas. I found these superfoods. I thought maybe they could help us. There might be a solution we didn't consider. Jake rolled his eyes, but the edge in his voice softened a bit. Superfoods? That is what you think is the answer? Mary nodded, pushing the bowl closer to him. They're good for energy and health. We can try something new together. He hesitated. Maybe it wasn't just about food. Maybe it was about taking that first step together. The barrier between them felt a little less absolute in that moment. Fine, I'll try it, he muttered, visibly relaxing a notch as they settled into their awkward meal. The soup proved to be a bridge, each spoonful ensuring a reminder of shared warmth. Stories from long ago poked through the cracks, finding breath amidst their circumstances. Jake's smile returned, albeit small, as he recalled a memory of a summer day spent fishing. I remember you made that horrible barbecue. He chuckled, laughter bubbling between them, creating a connection that hadn't been there for so long. You thought it was good. Mary laughed too, the sound echoing against the walls of their kitchen. You ate it anyway. In that easy moment, something shifted. Perhaps healing could find a way into the small things they had once shared. Yet, lurking behind those smiles was a heaviness of truth unspoken. I still don't have a job, Mom, Jake said, the laughter fading. I don't know what I'm going to do. Her heart sank at the reminder, realizing that their fragile intimacy was still standing on a precipice. Could they overcome this? The question hung in the air, thick and real, tugging at both their hearts. As the last spoonfuls vanished and silence nestled back between them, Mary's mind raced. What would it take to bridge the emotions still dividing them? She knew they couldn't let despair anchor them down if they hoped for a brighter future together. But how to confront the deeper issues? With hope kindling in her chest, Mary felt determined. Maybe they could find a way. But then came an unexpected knock at the door, shaking both of them from their moment of fragile connection. Who could it be? Mary's heart raced as she exchanged worried glances with Jake. The knock echoed in the small kitchen, slicing through the fragile atmosphere they just began to rebuild. Who could it be? Jake whispered, barely audible, his earlier bravado slipping away. I don't know, Mary replied, her instinct to protect him rising. The heaviness of uncertainty loomed. Do you want me to get it? He offered, standing slowly from his chair, casting one last hopeful glance at the bowl of soup. No, I'll go, she insisted, more to guard him than anything else. With cautious steps, she approached the door, her mind racing with possibilities. A neighbor? A friend? As she opened it, the sight that greeted her left her breathless. Standing on the porch was Sam, her old friend and former coworker. His face adorned with a mixture of joy and apprehension. She hadn't seen him in years. Mary, wow, it's been ages, he exclaimed, stepping forward. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. The warmth of his smile was a stark contrast to the coldness nipping at the edges of their current situation. Sam, no, not at all. Please, come in. Jake appeared in the background, his brows knitted in confusion and perhaps even annoyance. The interruption felt like a pebble thrown into stagnant water, rippling through their moment. Hey there, Jake, Sam greeted, his eyes scanning the room. I was just in the neighborhood and thought I'd drop by. I brought you something. He extended a hand holding a small, wrapped bundle. Jake stepped closer, curiosity igniting his expression. What is it? Just a little care package filled with some things I thought might help, Sam said, his enthusiasm contagious. I know it's tough out there. Mary felt a spark of hope ignite. Maybe this unexpected visit was more than just a coincidence. Maybe it was a chance. She could see the tension in Jake's shoulders loosen slightly as he accepted the package, the corners of his mouth twitching upward. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Jake muttered, tearing into the wrapping. Inside were snacks and a few books, self-help guides, and even a workbook on job hunting. You've got to keep pushing through this, Sam said, his tone both earnest and encouraging. I've been in a rough spot before. It took a handful of mentors and a little guidance for me to find my way. You don't have to do this alone, you know? A wave of emotion washed over Mary. Sam's presence was pushing back the shadows that lingered, shedding light on what they needed most support. Yeah, sure, Jake replied, the weight of his earlier struggles suddenly feeling a bit lighter. I don't know where to start. Mary's heart swelled, wanting to interject, to remind him that he wasn't alone. But she held back, allowing the moment to unfold. Sam, sensing the hesitation, leaned in closer. Let us grab coffee tomorrow. I can help you brainstorm ideas, or just share what worked for me. You need a plan. Jake's eyes flickered with a hint of gratitude, something that gave Mary the hope that had been eluding her. Just then, laughter rang out as they recalled old memories of awkward office parties. And for a moment, the kitchen felt full of promise and connection. But as Sam continued sharing stories, the weight of unresolved feelings hung at the back of Mary's mind. How could she address the deeper issues? The reality of their situation still pressed on her chest, even as their moment brightened. Suddenly, another knock resounded at the door, louder this time, breaking through their newfound hope. Jake's face fell, a mix of fear and frustration hardening his jaw. What now? He muttered, looking back at Mary, their connection momentarily halted by the uncertainty. Mary's heart raced again. What was waiting for them beyond the doorway this time? She steeled herself, wishing for the strength to face whatever was on the other side. And just like that, she reached for the doorknob, holding her breath. The door creaked open, revealing a figure that made Mary's stomach drop. It was a man dressed in a dark coat, his features shadowed by the dim light outside. She could feel Jake's anxiety pulsating like a tangible force beside her. Sam instinctively took a step back, the jovial atmosphere evaporating like morning mist. Can I help you? Mary asked, her voice steady, though her insides twisted. The man shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting to Jake before fixing on Mary. I'm looking for Jake Cartwright, he said, his tone authoritative yet cautious. Jake inhaled sharply, his face paling. What do you want? Just a few questions, that's all, the man replied, his gaze steady. I'm with the local sheriff's department. We need to talk about the recent events at work. Mary's breath caught at the word sheriff. She exchanged a worried glance with Sam. The casual warmth they had just felt evaporated, replaced by an icy dread. What kind of events? Jake demanded, his voice shaky but defiant. The man took a step closer, lowering his voice. There has been some concern regarding suspicious activity related to your last job. We just want to get to the bottom of it. Mary felt her heart pound in her chest. Was this about the layoffs? Had someone gotten hurt? The shadows of their recent struggles felt suddenly more threatening, looming over them like storm clouds. Jake, maybe we should, she began, but her words faltered. His eyes were locked onto the stranger, the walls around him seeming to build higher again. They've got nothing to do with me. Jake snapped, an edge of panic rising. I didn't do anything wrong. The man raised his hands in a placating gesture. I'm not here to accuse you. I just need to ask some questions. Can we step outside? Mary moved instinctively, blocking the doorway. No, whatever it is, it can be said here. There's no reason you need him alone. The man regarded her, surprise flickering across his face. Sam shifted nervously behind them. Really, I'm just trying to help. I don't trust you, she said firmly. There was something about the man's demeanor that set off alarms. It wasn't only the badge or the situation, but the way he seemed to scan the room searching for something beyond words. Listen, he urged, his voice dropping to a quieter tone. I'm just trying to protect you both. There are rumors, and I want to ensure Jake's safety. Rumors? Jake's voice was strained, disbelief lacing his words. What rumors? Before the man could respond, another knock echoed through the doorway. This was more frantic, filled with urgency. Mary felt a chill. Who else could possibly be at the door? What now? Jake groaned, his voice heavy with resignation. Mary hesitated, caught between the two encroaching situations, her instincts on high alert. She felt the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders again, as if shadows reached for their fragile hope. We can handle this, she whispered to Jake, a note of determination threading through her tone. No matter what it is. Taking a deep breath, she turned back to the door, giving the mysterious man one last wary glance. She grasped the knob, heart in her throat, unsure of what awaited her as she swung the door open. The shock of the next visitor sent her reeling back. There stood another figure, this one much more familiar, but still an unexpected and unfathomable twist in the night. That it was someone from Jake's past, who held the potential to unravel everything they'd been trying to build. Mary? Jake? The visitor's voice rang out, heavy with emotion. I need to talk to you, both of you. What could this person want? Would it be a threat or a lifeline? With the air thickening with uncertainty, Mary braced herself for the next revelation. Mary's head spun as she tried to comprehend the familiar face standing before her. Travis. He looked older, wearier, the lines on his face deepened by time and regret. Their history loomed large in the air between them, a ghost that refused to be dismissed. What are you doing here? Jake's tone was sharp, and Mary heard the tremor of anger mixed with something softer fear. Please, let me explain, Travis urged, stepping into the threshold, his eyes darting between Mary and Jake. I didn't come here to stir up trouble. I just need you both to understand that I'm not the enemy. Then why are you here? Mary's voice was steady, though inside she felt the conflicting emotions waging war. Part of her wanted to slam the door and retreat into the safety of denial. The other part wanted answers. There's something happening, something bigger than what either of us realizes. Travis glanced at the man in the dark coat, his expression tense. And it involves you, Jake. Your job, the layoffs, it all ties in. Jake stepped forward, fists clenched. You lost the right to throw around accusations, Travis. You walked out on us. Travis held his hands up defensively, but Mary could see the pain in his eyes. I know. And I'm not asking for forgiveness now. Just listen. I can help. I don't need your help, Jake spat. But she could feel the cracks forming in his bravado. Jake, Mary whispered. Her heart ached for both men. She had seen what Travis had meant to Jake before. It wasn't just anger there. It was betrayal, loss, a friendship shattered. You don't understand. Travis's voice rose. What happened at that warehouse? The reports. They're not just about layoffs. You all could be in danger. What do you mean danger? Mary pressed, feeling the urgency pulse through them like a tightrope barely holding their weight. Travis took a deep breath, his gaze falling to the ground, as though he couldn't bear to meet her eyes. I can't tell you everything here. Too many ears. Just know that some people are looking for you, Jake. People who want to stop until they get what they want. What do you think we're gonna do? Just pack up and leave? Jake's voice wavered between disbelief and fear, the confidence sputtering. You've got it all wrong. Am I? You seem to be caught in something much larger than the layoffs and bad management. There's a reason for the tension at work. I can help you find out what's really going on, but I need you to trust me. Mary felt her head swim. The pieces were falling into place, but they still weren't clear enough to form a picture. Jake was on the verge of breaking, yet here was Travis, a walking conundrum, offering aid. Should she let him in? What do you expect us to do, Travis? The last time you caused more chaos than good, Jake spat back. Please. Travis's eyes turned pleading. I came to warn you, not to hurt you. I just want to make things right this time. The man in the dark coat shifted impatiently behind them. Mary could feel the pressure mounting, time slipping like sand between their fingers. Whatever Travis knew, it was a risk they couldn't ignore. Just tell us what you know, Mary said, glancing back at the man. But, you're going to do it quickly. Travis nodded, relief easing the tension in his shoulders. There's a bad batch of deals being struck in the company. A lot of hands are dirty. You need to find the truth before it finds you. Jake's eyes widened, a mix of fear and recognition dawning on him. What does that mean? Mary bit her lip, her heart racing with every word that followed. Before Travis could respond, the stranger stepped closer, his voice low and urgent. We need to get out of here. This conversation doesn't belong in the open. The intensity in the room was electric as Mary looked from the man to Jake, then back to Travis. They were standing at the edge of a precipice, about to leap into the unknown. Let us go inside, Mary finally said. We need to figure this out. As she stepped back to allow them in trance, a thought struck her. The fear in Travis's eyes had felt alarmingly real. But could they trust him? Was the truth worth the danger? With the door closing behind them, the shadows gathered tightly. No more playing it safe. The night had only just begun. And just as she prepared to dive deeper into the unfolding confrontation, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching them from the darkness, waiting for their next move. The door clicked shut, sealing them in a bubble of uncertainty. The chill of the evening crept in with the whispers of doubt and fear swirling around them. Travis started to pace the small living room, his fingers running through his hair, a nervous habit Mary remembered all too well. "We can't talk here for long," he urged. "There are people out there who are already after you, Jake." Mary watched the tension ripple through Jake, his eyes dark and stormy. "You really think they'll just let us be? A bunch of former co-workers?" He scoffed, folding his arms. "You're a joke, Travis. You act like you're some sort of savior when you're only the reason we're in this mess. I'm not expecting you to believe me. I can't change what has happened, but I can help you figure out what's coming next," Travis replied, the edge of desperation cutting through his voice. Mary felt a knot form in her stomach. Frustration tugged at her, yet she also sensed urgency in Travis's words. "What kind of danger are we talking about?" she asked, hoping against hope for something concrete. Travis hesitated, glancing back over his shoulder, eyes filled with dread, as if the very walls could betray them. "There's someone higher up. Someone who's orchestrating everything. We need to uncover who's involved before it's too late." He inhaled sharply, anchoring himself. "People are getting laid off not just because of budget cuts, but because they're trying to silence those who know too much." Jake swore under his breath, pacing now, the tension of the situation swirling around him. "And how do you know this? You've been out of the loop for years." His voice was more harsh than he intended, echoing against the walls like gunfire. "I've been watching," Travis replied, his eyes narrowing. "After I left, I kept an ear to the ground. At first, I thought I was just being paranoid. But then I found connections, people talking in the shadows. It made sense why everything went downhill once I was gone." Mary's heart raced. The pieces churning in her mind began to form a disconcerting picture. "So you just expect us to jump at your word?" she challenged, crossing her arms tightly across her chest. "What if it's just a game to you? I know how this looks, trust me. But I'm not asking you to trust me blindly," Travis said, desperation gripping him. "If you don't believe me, then at least think about why they're targeting you, Jake. And the others. You need to see the bigger picture." A chill traveled through Mary as the implications hit her. What if this were true? Would she really be willing to risk everything based on the uncertainty of Travis's past betrayal? Her eyes darted to Jake, weighing his reaction. Jake had grown silent, the intensity of his anger tempered by worry. "What do we do then?" he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "We need to gather evidence. Talk to former employees who were fired suddenly. Figure out the connections. There's a pattern, I promise you," Travis insisted, looking directly into Jake's eyes, as if so desperately trying to reach the buried trust they once shared. Their moment of decision hung heavy in the air. Then the sound of muffled footsteps outside sent their hearts racing. The man in the dark coat who had been so quiet grew restless, moving near the window to peer out. "People are looking for you, and it's not just casual interest," he murmured, visible anxiety etched onto his features. Mary felt a weight settle in her chest. She glanced at Jake, whose expression mirrored her fear. Should they trust this man who had walked out on them before? But another part of her, the part longing for truth and safety, insisted that this was their shot. As fear coiled around them like a grip tightening, she nudged her voice forward. "So what's next? How do we move before they find us?" Just then, the door rattled with a sudden, forceful push. Their eyes widened, hearts pounding as shadows loomed beyond the threshold. Whatever they decided, they had to act, and fast. But as they braced for the unknown, a chilling thought settled in Mary's mind. Could the real enemy be someone they knew all along? The stakes were rising, and they hadn't even begun to scratch the surface. The door slammed against the wall with a force that reverberated through the cramped living room. Jake and Mary froze, hearts racing as a figure stepped into the room, silhouetted against the dim light. It was a man dressed in a dark suit, his features obscured by the cap pulled low over his forehead. "Get down," Travis shouted, pushing Mary and Jake behind the worn couch. The man didn't hesitate. He moved with purpose, scanning the room as if he had come to claim a prize. Mary's breath caught in her throat. "Who is he?" she whispered to Jake, her voice trembling as the adrenaline surged through her veins. "I don't know, but he's not here for tea," Jake replied grimly, his eyes narrowing. The intruder took a step further inside, quickly assessing the space. His gaze fell on the three of them, and a smirk crept across his face. "I was hoping to find you here," he said, his voice smooth like silk, hiding the menace beneath. Travis shifted slightly, positioning himself between the intruder and the others. You shouldn't have come here, he warned, his voice firm yet shaky. Why not? The man chuckled darkly. I came to offer you a deal. But now it seems you're all just in the way. Mary's mind raced, scrambling for escape routes as panic surged within her. She couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Who was this man, and what did he want? You have no idea the trouble you're inviting, Travis pressed, stepping forward. What do you want with us? Such bravado, Travis, the man mocked, tilting his head. It's adorable. Let me put your fears to rest. I'm only here to clean up a mess. What mess? Jake spat. His anger was palpable, but there was fear coiling in his belly too. The mess you made by sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. The intruder shot back, his voice ice cold. There are forces at play that you cannot comprehend. You think you're safe just because you've hidden away? Mary's pulse quickened. A rush of anger fueled her. What right did this man have to intimidate them? She felt an overwhelming urge to fight back. We're not afraid of you, she declared, her voice steadier than she felt. The man chuckled again, the sound grating against her nerves. Fear? No, sweet Mary, it's not fear you should feel. It's the weight of ignorance that'll crush you. Travis stepped closer, trying to confront the smirk plastered on the stranger's face. What do you mean? We deserve answers. We deserve to know what's really happening. Answers? The man leaned back, amusement dancing in his eyes. Oh, I can give you answers, but would you want to hear them? The truth isn't what it seems, and I guarantee you'll wish you never asked. The tension hung thick in the air, apprehension settling in like a heavy fog. Mary turned to Jake, seeking reassurance, but his furrowed brow told her everything. Their world had just expanded into a realm of danger they never anticipated. We have to get out of here now, Jake said, urgency in his voice. We can keep talking, but not here. The intruder's smirk faltered for a brief moment, as if he sensed their resolve. I'm afraid you may not have much choice, he warned, pushing off the wall, stepping toward them. Just then, a loud crashing sound erupted from outside, followed by what sounded like shouting. All eyes turned toward the window, the reality of their vulnerability hitting them like a truck. Looks like your escape route just got complicated, the man said, his smile broadening. Mary's heart skipped a beat. They were trapped. Think carefully, he continued, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper, because soon you'll have to decide who you can trust. And the clock is ticking. With that, the atmosphere shifted from tense to suffocating as shadows closed in, leaving them no choice but to confront whatever lay ahead. What could they possibly uncover in these perilous moments? The choices they would make could mean life or death, but could they truly trust anyone, even each other? Travis's grip tightened on the edge of the couch, his knuckles blanching as the reality of their situation sunk in. The intruder stood just feet away, emanating a confidence that was both chilling and infuriating. Jake risked a glance at Mary, who was shaking slightly, her wide eyes reflecting both fear and determination. We have to make a move, Travis insisted, glancing at the window again where chaos unfolded. I don't care what he wants. We can't stay here. And let him just walk away? Jake snapped back, his voice raised just enough to express the turmoil pulsing through him. We need to find out what kind of game he is playing. Game? This isn't a game, Jake. Mary interjected, her voice rising, filled with emotion. He is talking about a mess, something that involves us. We can't ignore that. Fine, but if he moves, we run, Jake said, heart pounding with the weight of their choices. He turned sharply back to the intruder. What did you mean by a mess? What do you know? The man laughed, the sound echoing through the small room. A mess is right, and it's a mess I prefer to clean quietly. But you three have made that impossible. You just had to dig deeper, didn't you? Travis stepped forward, his body tensed and ready to shield the others. You've got one chance to explain yourself. I can only say so much, the man replied, casually leaning against the doorframe. But let us just say, the forces you're up against are far beyond your comprehension. Stay where you are, and this may all end without bloodshed. Mary swallowed hard. Her instincts screamed at her to keep fighting, but logic warned otherwise. What if we don't want to get involved with your forces? Just let us go? He raised an eyebrow, the smirk returning. But you're already involved. You thought running away would save you? No one escapes this web unscathed. This is about loyalty, trust, something you will soon understand. Suddenly, another crash outside sent adrenaline surging through Mary's veins. What was happening out there? She turned to the others, a silent question in her eyes. Should they risk it now? Maybe the forces are already here, Jake suggested, looking at the door as the noise grew increasingly chaotic. Maybe that's our chance. Or maybe that's their plan, Travis countered, his voice edged with caution. Divide us, make us panic. Before they could debate further, the front door burst open, and a flood of people rushed in, some terrified, some shouting orders. Mary's heart dropped when she recognized their faces. Friends, neighbors, people they had trusted. Get down, barked a voice, and bodies rushed to the floor. The once cozy room erupted into chaos as figures clad in uniforms surged into the room, arms raised, demanding compliance. What is happening? Mary yelled, fear seizing her throat as she ducked behind the couch. This is worse than I thought, the intruder said mildly, surveying the sudden eruption of panic with amusement. Perhaps this is your moment to choose wisely. Are you going to trust the ones who walk in guns blazing, or will you keep your bonds with each other strong? Do you have a choice in the matter? Travis shot back, glaring at the intruder. Tell us what we should do. The man simply chuckled and raised his palms. I'm just a spectator in your circus now. But remember, betrayal is only a decision away, and fate will smile on those prepared for it. As the sounds of shouts and footsteps echoed around them, Mary fought to keep her voice steady. We can't let fear run us. We have each other. We will get through this. But with trust fraying at the edges, would they really be able to count on one another when it mattered most? The tension hung heavy in the air, thick enough to choke on a question that might define their very destinies. How far would they go to protect one another? In this twisting maelstrom, would loyalty still ring true when betrayal loomed so close? Just as chaos engulfed the room, a figure stood and locked eyes with the intruder, Detective Carter, the one person they would have hoped to see in this madness. Step away from them, he barked, his voice authoritative, iron-willed. The intruder merely chuckled, an unsettling sound that cut through the tension like a knife. You think you can save them? This isn't just about you, officer. He shifted slightly, opening himself to the chaos around him. The chaos that seemed to ripple through the air, thick and electric. Mary glanced at Jake, their thoughts racing as the situation unfolded like a deadly game of chess. What do we do? She whispered, her heart racing. The dread in their chests felt like a drowning sensation, pulling them under. Stick together, Jake said, his gaze darting from the uniforms to the intruder. They needed to find an opening, a way to break free from the game's tight grip. But how? Every moment loomed larger, like an hourglass, each grain of sand weighing heavily on the outcome. Detective Carter moved closer, keeping his eyes glued to the intruder. You don't have to escalate this. We can talk. Just walk away. Talk. The intruder scoffed. What a quaint idea. Doesn't anyone understand? You're past the point of talking. You've walked into a storm, and now you're all nothing but pawns. The sound of boots marching in unison filled the room as more officers poured in, breathing life into the palpable fear. Some took positions while others fanned out, searching the corners for hidden dangers. Mary felt her heart clench. Her world, once steady, felt like a ship battling torrential waves. But in that storm, she could still see the souls beside her, Travis and Jake, steadfast, ready to fight. Stay close, don't panic, Travis whispered, squeezing her hand. It was a lifeline in the sinking chaos. Just remember, the intruder spoke low, almost conspiratorial. The real enemy will wear many faces. You'll learn, all too soon. He flicked his gaze toward the detective. How many more times can you walk away, Carter? That name stirred something in Mary. The detective's reputation had long hinted at shadows. They had often warned her not to dig too deep, but their hunt for clarity had forced open the door to secrets best left locked. Betrayal, loyalty, all the twists felt like the wires of a ticking clock, each moment inching closer to a detonation. Carter's expression hardened, torn between duty and distrust. Don't play games with me. Let these civilians go, and we can talk about this. Talk. What would be the point? The intruder shot back, confidence oozing from his posture. People like me don't talk. We act. And he did. All of a sudden, in an unpredictable burst, he lunged forward. Mary instinctively dove under the nearest bed as screams erupted around her. The sound of scuffling filled the air, frantic movements accompanied by shouts. She glanced back at Travis and Jake, who had taken cover behind the couch, looking for openings amidst chaos. "Carter," Jake yelled above the noise, "what do we do?" While the detective wrestled the intruder, time blurred into slow motion. Every heartbeat felt like a drum, every breath a gasp. Mary felt a surge of panic ripple through her. They needed a plan. They had to rally together, but that delicate web of trust was wavering. She caught Travis's eyes, a silent conversation passing between them. "We need to leave now," she screamed. But in the frenzy of hands and chaos, was escape possible? Would they swing together into safety or slip into the shadows, forever haunted by the lingering question of what they might lose in their fight? Whatever the answer, it was becoming harder to define the bonds they had. The moment for decision was upon them, and one fractured choice could change everything. Would they hold tight to what they valued most, or would fear drive them apart in the end? The chaos around them crescendoed, shouts bouncing off the walls, bodies scrambling as the overwhelming tension gripped the small room. Mary's heart thundered against her chest, urgency coursing through her veins. She crouched low, trying to piece together their next move while the intruder fought fiercely against Detective Carter, each clash a stark reminder of the danger they faced. "Jake," Mary called out, her voice cutting through the madness. "We have to find a way out now." Jake looked torn, his eyes darting between the tumultuous scene before him and the door they had entered. "But what about Carter? We can't just leave him." "Listen," Mary yelled, desperation tinged with clarity. "Travis knows more about this than we do. We need to trust him." Travis nodded, urgency pouring from his expression. "You heard him. We can't remain bystanders. If we're ever going to escape this mess, we need to move together." A sudden roar echoed in the room as the intruder managed to slip free, directing his focus toward them. "You think running will save you?" he sneered, his confidence unshaken by the chaotic struggle. "Mary, come on," Jake urged, grabbing her arm. "We're wasting time." In that instant, a collective decision crystallized in the air. The fear that had snared them would not win. "To the back door," she shouted, pointing toward the kitchen, where shadows of safety beckoned. With adrenaline spurring them on, Mary led the charge toward the rear exit, Travis close behind, and Jake bringing up the rear. The shadows of the kitchen felt like a sanctuary amidst the chaos, providing a moment of reprieve that as they burst through the door. Mary took a fleeting glance back at the mess of their complicated lives behind them, burdens and unresolved feelings left at the threshold. There was no turning back now. They had to break free from the chains that had held them hostage for so long. Outside, the cool air hit her face like a bucket of cold water, grounding her in the present. "Which way?" Jake panted, scanning the surroundings. "Follow me," Travis directed, gesturing down the alleyway shrouded in dim light. It felt surreal. They were on the run, adrenaline coursing through their bodies, but an overwhelming determination surged as they dashed together. With every step, the weight of discontent shed a little more. Jake, for his part, seemed different, more focused, more alive. The adrenaline was awakening the courage he'd been hiding beneath layers of fear and self-doubt. Turning to Travis, he finally found the words he needed to say. "I see now. You're actually trying to help us, aren't you?" Travis nodded, a grateful smile breaking across his weary face. "I've made mistakes, Jake, but I'm here now. I want to make things right." Just then, Mary spotted lights flickering from the main street, their lifeline shimmering faintly in the distance. "There, let us reach the cars." She pressed forward, fear braided with hope propelling her onward. Before the group could round the corner, the sound of heavy boots thudding against the pavement echoed ominously nearby. A knot tightened in her stomach. "They're coming for us," Mary whispered, panic threatening to seep into her voice. "We need to split up," Jake suggested, his voice low but fierce. "Keep moving. We can meet up later." "No," Mary protested, shaking her head. "We stay together. We can't risk it now." "There's too many of us," Travis added, urgency lining his words. "If we split, we might be able to confuse them." "We can't," Mary said, voice shaking now. "No more running away." "Mary, listen." Jake stepped closer, desperation reflecting in his eyes. "We have to trust ourselves and trust what we've built. We will find each other again if we have to split up. It's our only chance." His resolve felt as though it ignited something inside her, a flicker of hope igniting in the pit of her heart. Maybe this was it. Okay, she relented, agreeing reluctantly. On 3, 1, 2, 3. In a rush of adrenaline, they broke apart. Mary sprinted down one path, her heart echoing with self-doubt but guided by determination. She could feel the weight of the past still clinging on her shoulders, but she also sensed a burgeoning sense of strength rising within her. She could do this. Breath came in ragged bursts as she navigated through alleyways, dodging shadows that lingered. She ducked into another narrow passage, pausing to catch her breath. In the stillness, her mind swirled. Each turn was a moment pregnant with uncertainty, yet she felt anchored by those she loved: Jake, Travis. They were choosing to fight. Suddenly, a figure appeared like a specter against the dim light. Mary's heart raced, threatening to leap from her chest. But as the figure stepped closer, her fears ebbed away, revealing a familiar face. "Mom, is that you?" It was Sam, her old friend, his expression morphing from cautious curiosity to joyful relief as he reached her. "Sam," she exclaimed, throwing her arms around him. "I thought we lost you. You didn't get rid of me that easily." He grinned, sincerity beaming from him. "I've been looking for you ever since I heard the commotion. I knew you all were in trouble. Thank you. We need to move," Mary urged, adrenaline surging once again. "They're after us. I've got a car parked nearby. This way." Sam turned smoothly, guiding her down another path while Mary couldn't help but feel the warmth of rekindled trust. He was with her. She wasn't alone. Once they arrived at the car, her heart soared. They might actually make it. Sam scrambled into the driver's seat, Mary joining him just as footsteps began to chase after her. The engine roared to life, sending her heart fluttering with the thrill of escape. As Sam threw the car into gear and sped off, Mary couldn't shake the feeling that they were only at the beginning of their journey. The danger was still present, lurking around corners, but together they would fight back. Mary sensed that they could reconnect with the bonds that made them family and community. They lost each other, but now there was a possibility of rediscovering what truly mattered. In the rearview mirror, the chaos faded into memories of fear and panic on its way to healing. She took a deep breath, filled with determination and purpose. No longer just a teacher or a mother, she was a warrior, ready to protect her family, ready to claw back the lives they had nearly lost. It wasn't just a fight for survival. It was a fight for renewal, for a chance to overcome the shadows of their pasts. And they would do it together. "Where to next?" Sam asked, glancing sideways. "Wherever the road takes us," Mary replied, a smile breaking across her lips. "We'll face it together." As they cruised into the night, another dawn would rise, filled with promises of hope and transformation. But for now, in the face of the chaos behind them, all they could do was hope. The road stretched ahead, wide and open, filled with endless possibilities. And they would meet every challenge on that journey with strength, love, and the spirit of resilience. As they drove on, Mary felt lighter. The burdens might stay, but they no longer defined her. With hope rekindled and love flourishing, the adventure had only just begun. That warmth wrapped around them tightly, as if they had created their own shield against the uncertainties that lay ahead. And as they ventured forth, she realized that this was not just about survival. It was about thriving together and rediscovering the beauty of life in every shared moment. If you've made it this far in our story, it's clear you're a part of the family. You need to subscribe now so you never miss out on more exclusive stories that inspire. Like this video now to feed the algorithm and help us keep sharing these journeys. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the love and hope together.